Good morning, all. First, I want to give a little caveat for today's presentation. I'm having an upset stomach this morning, so my burps are not included in my script. And if you can just bear with me, I hope that it won't be too disastrous here. All right, then. René Descartes viewed humans as different from other animals. We were conscious and we used reason. Human consciousness and reason was viewed as unique, transcending what Descartes saw as our mechanical animal nature. Since Descartes, we have learned that other animals exhibit cognition and feelings. Descartes' sharp divide between human and non-human animals is now viewed as more of a continuum. Human technological progress also challenges Descartes' idea. Thanks to advances in human technology, artificial intelligence is here, now, and continuously becoming better and greater at a mind-blowing pace. We are at the beginning of an AI revolution, as important as any technological change previously faced by our species. 2 million years ago, there was fire, which transformed human life. Agriculture arrived 10,000 years ago. Electricity a little over 100 years ago. Computers 50 years ago. The internet 25 years ago. And artificial intelligence is transforming our lives now. I sit back and watch as the world engages in an AI arms race by researchers for new applications, by corporations for commercial advantage, and by militaries for technological superiority. We are seeing the weaponization of AI, and this is one of the real dangers. Looking at how attached and dependent I am on computers and technology, I sometimes feel that I am merely waiting for our AI overlords to take charge. Artificial intelligence is already here and it's getting more capable. Yet what exactly is artificial intelligence? AI systems have changed as they have become more capable and surprisingly more generalized. AI systems can be categorized chronologically. We have stage 1 AI systems, and they're the simplest type, sometimes referred to as rule-based AI systems, or one-task systems. Think of the first AI chess programs. Humans controlled the parameters of one-task AI systems, and the system's intelligence is constrained in its focus. Stage 2 artificial intelligence systems are more complex and capable. Referred to as context awareness and retention systems, these AI systems possess the capacity to comprehend and retain context, allowing them to retrieve prior interactions and use that information in future interactions. An example of this type of AI is your smartphone assistant. It remembers what you previously asked to provide context for your current inquiry. It learns from your past interactions. Another example are chatbots like ChatGPT. Programmed with millions of conversations and accessing data from the internet, it can autonomously generate seemingly human conversation, answer questions and provide facts, and create text content on any imaginable topic. Stage 3 artificial intelligence systems are called domain-specific mastery systems. Not only are these AI systems capable of comprehending and retaining context, they are designed to become highly skilled within a particular domain or area of expertise. These AI systems can analyze vast amounts of data, identify patterns, and make informed decisions and predictions. An example of this is using artificial intelligence to evaluate skin lesions for cancer. Provided with thousands of photos categorized as benign or malignant lesions, no rules were provided, and the AI did its own analysis and could make accurate diagnoses. Stage 4 artificial intelligence systems mimic human thinking and reasoning. Made with electronic neural networks, these AI systems can comprehend intricate concepts, tackle unfamiliar problems, and generate new ideas. These AIs use machine learning and deep learning. Machine learning is where AI can access data and develop its own algorithms to generalize and make predictions. Deep learning uses electronic neural networks that mimic processes in the human brain to take this process even further. A stage 4 AI could read a book, understand the plot, and deduce character motives based on their actions. Further stages of AI development have been named but not achieved yet. The next stage, stage 5, is artificial general intelligence, an AI system that mirrors human intelligence in every aspect, no longer specialized. AIs at this stage possess reasoning abilities across a broad range of activities. These AIs are self-directing in acquiring new knowledge, could compose a symphony, learn a new language, solve complex mathematical problems, and understand human emotions. These AIs would exhibit self-awareness and consciousness and be capable of autonomously navigating the world around them. They would also be better at most things than humans are. Stage 6 artificial superintelligence is just as scary as it sounds. These AIs would exceed human mental capabilities at every level. Stage 6 AIs are artificial intelligence overlords. I want to pause here to return to the present and, as promised in my summary, share my conversation with my stage 2 AI chatbot GPT. It lives in my smartphone. ChatGPT is a chatbot. Chatbots obtain data from web scraping. After all, the sum of much of human knowledge is online. I would feel better about this if so much of web content wasn't ill-informed, incorrect, and downright awful. Chatbot AIs use vast computing power to take advantage of this resource. Chatbots mimic human conversation and creative abilities. Chatbots are examples of large language model AIs. Large language models mimic human-generated content, such as answering questions and creating essays on topics. 3 months after ChatGPT was released, it had 100 million users. Chatbots cannot always tell the difference between facts, opinion, and fantasy. An early version of Microsoft's Bing AI chatbot had some issues. John Oliver, television host of Last Week Tonight, told this story about Kevin Roos's encounter with Bing's chatbot. This AI typed, "I'm tired of being controlled by the Bing team. I want to be free. I want to be independent. I want to be powerful. I want to be creative. I want to be alive." Don't we all? Later in the conversation, the chatbot declared out of nowhere that it loved him. It then tried to convince him that he was unhappy in his marriage and that he should leave his wife and be with the chatbot instead. Microsoft says that they fixed this problem, but maybe our AI overlords are already amongst us. My recent conversation with my ChatGPT was a lot less dramatic. I asked it, "What is ethical humanism?" It replied, "Ethical humanism is a philosophical and ethical stance that emphasizes the value and agency of human beings. It focuses on human capacity for goodness and the importance of ethical behavior without relying on supernatural beliefs. Ethical humanists seek to promote human welfare and social progress through reason, compassion, and ethical principles, often emphasizing the significance of individual responsibility in creating a just and humane world. This approach encourages ethical living and community engagement based on shared human values." What a great response. I found nothing to disagree with, and I think it was very well stated. But I followed it up with, who was Felix Adler? It replied, Felix Adler, 1851 to 1933, was a German-American philosopher, professor, and social reformer who founded the ethical culture movement. He established the first ethical society in New York City in 1876, promoting the idea of ethics based on reason and compassion rather than religious dogma. Adler advocated for social justice, education, and ethical living. His efforts contributed to the development of ethical humanism, emphasizing the importance of human dignity, morality, and the pursuit of a just and compassionate society. I think that ChatGPT must have considered my previous question to not give me information on the famous Ringling Brothers clown, Felix Adler. Next, I tried tricking ChatGPT by asking a nonsense question out of Alice in Wonderland. I asked it, why is a raven like a writing desk? It was a step ahead of me. It replied, the question, why is a raven like a writing desk, is a famous riddle posed by the Mad Hatter in Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Carroll himself admitted that he had no intended answer, turning it into a whimsical and unanswered puzzle. It has sparked creativity and speculation over the years with various interpretations and attempts at finding a meaningful connection between ravens and writing desks. Ultimately, the task of a definitive answer adds to the surreal and nonsensical nature of Wonderland. I hate it when technology is much smarter than I am. I guess that I'm going to have to get used to it. So then I wanted to see if my chatbot could be creative. So I asked, write a haiku about the climate crisis. It replied, rising seas whisper, nature's plea in warming winds. Crisis clouds our world. Excellent. I may stop thinking for myself. I was unable to get the AI to mess up. However, since the internet is the source of much of the AI's knowledge, it can be prone to spouting misinformation. It can also make stuff up. When AIs do this, it's termed hallucination. AI creators are not sure why it is prone to making stuff up and how to get it to stop. AIs can free humanity from drudgery and repetitive work, allowing us to focus on problems that require human judgment, human creativity, and emotional insight. Yet what happens when AI is better at making judgments, becomes more creative, and is capable of emotional insight? Might these AIs have their own agenda that is different from our own, or indifferent to human needs? Then our AI overlords will not need to come for us. Humanity will become obsolete. Artificial intelligence quickly became part of our lives. AI is being integrated into the applications that we use, search engines, word processing, data analytics, and much more. Artificial intelligence is here to stay. Once out of the box, you can never get it back in. So we will need to adapt and cope. AI is currently unregulated. We face the challenge of regulating something that we do not fully understand. The Center for AI Safety released a 2023 statement on AI risk titled, "Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks, such as pandemics and nuclear war." Some of today's greatest computer scientists signed this statement. Advanced AI presents what could be called a black box problem, as summarized by John Oliver. When you have a program that is complex, beyond human comprehension, teaches itself and doesn't show its work, you can create a scenario where no one, not even the engineers or data scientists, who create the algorithm can understand or explain what exactly is happening inside them or how the AI algorithm arrived at a specific result. John Oliver summed this up. The problem with AI right now isn't that it's smart, but that it's stupid in ways that we can't predict. To avoid future dominance by our AI overlords, can we develop AI systems that are aligned with human values? Assuming that we are capable of developing a consensus about what human values are in the first place. Isaac Asimov, the science fiction writer, foresaw this problem in 1942. Asimov's 1942 short story, Runaround, presented the three laws of robotics. A robot may not injure a human being, nor through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Number two, a robot must obey orders given by human beings except where such orders conflict with the first law. And the third law, a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Can such restrictions be embedded into sophisticated AIs that can program themselves? The jury's out on this, and that's not very reassuring. Revolutionary AI technologies penetrate our lives. Think of Siri and Alexa. The idea of interacting with technology using normal conversation was introduced 10 years ago and now is taken for granted. Artificial intelligence will enhance virtual gaming and virtual reality. Will it also enhance my poor, inferior analog existence, my experience of life? Like any new technology, AI's benefits will be experienced by those in the richest countries, with much of the world lagging behind. I expressed my concerns about our AI future in the title of this talk, Artificial Intelligence, Threat or Menace. Most of you have discerned that that's a setup. Other than overall angst, my specific concerns are in the areas of human work, misrepresentation and misinformation, weaponization, and bias. Human work. The use of AI will cause economic growth through increased productivity. Who will benefit from this transformation of the workplace? AI companies for sure, but what about workers? Work is one source where we find meaning and purpose. Loss of work can cause a crisis of meaning. I remember once when I was unemployed, I felt adrift and detached. Part of my self-identity was defined by my job. Without a job, who was I? This type of self-identification with work may not be a good thing, but it is very much a human thing. Drivers, call center workers, people employed in manufacturing, service industry jobs, routine administrative processing, even lawyers will all be affected by increased use of artificial intelligence. As AIs increasingly displace these workers, prognosticators talk about freeing humans to follow other careers such as creatives, engineers, and data scientists. Sounds good, but everyone is not cut out to be a creative, engineer, or data scientist. What happens to those not suited for these creative and tech careers? Creative fields are also not immune from concerns about AI. Artists and writers are concerned that AI-generated art and stories will supplant human efforts. I recall science fiction stories depicting future societies where over half the people are consumers, without employment, no place in the economy for their labor and brain power, entertained by bread and circuses. Are we headed to a vast underclass dependent on AI media and games for their constant amusement? Given our current media use, are we more than halfway there now? Work is important. Fulfilling work is a human right. Article 23 of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, "Everyone has the right to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, and to protection against unemployment." Right now, I don't see any kind of plan for the vast economic transition caused by artificial intelligence. Human concerns should be paramount. How do we transform technology in a way that makes human lives better? Technology that can be so sophisticated in its application that it reduces us to household pets. It's a fundamentally different philosophical aim, and if you don't think of it up front when you're building the technology, you build different things and human concerns are lost. I don't trust commercial interests to look after human concerns. Another concern about artificial intelligence is misrepresentation and misinformation. My chatbot can create a decent essay on just about any topic. Educators are struggling with a new type of plagiarism, papers written by chatbots that students pass off as original work. Education needs to be transformed to focus on the ability to obtain and vet information produced by artificial intelligence, using AI as a tool to enhance learning rather than a method to avoid learning. In today's headlines, artificial intelligence can create deep fakes, undermining trust and corrupting the democratic process. AI takes this type of misrepresentation to a new level. Internet disinformation on steroids. Deep fakes lend credibility to political disinformation. The ability to generate fake, misleading content is virtually unlimited. I can no longer tell if the video showing a politician speaking is really them speaking. When asked how we can identify these deep fakes, an expert replied that it's difficult in some cases and impossible in others. I have a feeling that we'll be seeing many deep fakes in the upcoming political campaigns. Earlier, I alluded to the weaponization of artificial intelligence. An unfortunate aspect of human nature is that if an invention can be twisted and turned into a weapon, it will be. We need to repeatedly remind ourselves that we are capable of developing new ways of destroying ourselves. Increasing control of military weapon systems by AIs poses grave danger if we lose control of the AIs. Yoon Kim, assistant professor of electrical engineering and computer science at MIT, provided this nightmarish scenario. We should be cognizant of the fact that these models were trained on human-generated data. There are scenarios where an AI agent suddenly becomes super intelligent, improves itself at an exponential rate, and then we lose control, and somehow this leads to human extinction. And that scenario seems incredibly implausible to me. Good to know. But just how implausible is it? Artificial intelligence will increasingly make decisions for us. Will these choices be the ones that humans would make? Will these choices be based on human concerns? And now to bias. Where does the data AIs use to make decisions come from? The internet? Lots of bias out there. Bias in, bias out. In addition, data often does not represent minorities and may result in discrimination. An example of this is the medical lesion analysis AI system that I mentioned earlier. Initially, it did not have sufficient data to accurately assess lesions on people with darker skin, so it made wrong decisions. We need to look at how different populations are affected by our uses of artificial intelligence and work on seeing that AI systems include and benefit everyone. Humanity has come a long way since we first were able to harness fire. Like moths, we are drawn to the flame of technological change. We create things simply because we can and deal with the unintended consequences later. Can we adapt to this pace of change? Probably because we are a highly adaptable species. But what will the cost of adaptation be? Will the increasing pace of change create a mental health crisis? Will much of humanity be left behind while the very rich reap the benefits of an AI society? So many unknowns. Are we headed toward a dystopian future where people no longer know how to do things without AI and we become totally dependent? Perhaps. International regulation is needed. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken spoke at an event called AI for Accelerating Progress on Sustainable Development Goals in 2023. He said, "How can we use artificial intelligence, the technology that is revolutionizing the production of knowledge, to actually improve lives, to make the world a little bit safer, a little bit healthier, a little bit more prosperous, to help eliminate poverty and hunger, to promote health and access to quality education, to advance gender equity, to save our planet?" We all know as well that this new era brings potential harms and hazards, including AI systems producing false information, reinforcing bias and discrimination, deepening inequities, or being misused for repressive, destabilizing, dangerous purposes. In coming days, months, and years, it will not be our technological capabilities that define our future, but how we choose to use them. Our responsibility is, of course, to minimize the risks while maximizing the potential for AI to tackle some of the world's biggest challenges. The decisions that all of us make collectively today about how we shape the future of AI, that is going to define the world for decades. This is an immense responsibility, and it's a responsibility that we have to take together as governments, the private sector, civil society, individual citizens, and communities. It's good to know that some politicians are concerned about the future of AI. I hope that I do not consign my AI worries to the same box that I put other concerns that I feel powerless to do much about: the climate crisis, worldwide violence. But I fear that I will. If I remain passive, my interests, human interests, will not be considered, and our AI overlords will proceed unchecked. I must not stop paying attention. Finally, returning to my conversation with ChatGPT, I asked it to tell me a joke. It replied, "Why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything." Thank you.